Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are and whenever you're tuning in, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started with the live stream here momentarily. Hello, Jem Losi. Welcome to the live stream. Just sit tight. We'll get started here in about 30 seconds. We'll run through a market update, and then we'll jump into any ticker requests. This one's going to be public, obviously. So we'll get started here momentarily. Just sit tight. I see we have quite a few people joining. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to get started here in about 10 seconds. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and make sure to smash the like, share the video with anybody that can jump on last minute. All right, as I mentioned, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Going to get started with today's live stream. Going to be doing a market update. We'll go through a bunch of different sectors, and then at the end, we'll go through some ticker requests. I generally do these videos for private members 30 minutes before the market closes on weekdays, but today I wanted to make it public. It's been a while since we did a public one on YouTube, so we'll do the member-only requests first, and if I have time, we'll jump into the public. Depending on how many there are, I'll try to get through as many as I can, but probably going to be, I'll probably have about 30 minutes on this live stream today, 45 max. So let me know if you do have a request. Just drop it in the live chat. If you're a member, let me know inside of the Pow Group private community. If you're public, obviously, you can just, in the live chat, you can drop a ticker, and let me know the exchange as well. And I'll jump into that at the end, or if anybody just has any questions or anything like that, that will be okay as well. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Today is Tuesday, June 4th. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. Also, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And it's the best way for me to get real-time updates out to the community. There was quite a bit of things that I was sharing. I just posted a video on Canopy growth. It started monthly consolidation. Finally underway. We've been screaming from the rooftops here on this channel saying that it's more than likely going to be coming in the next few months. And I've been saying that it looks like, we're going to see a little bit more weakness and short-term pain into the end of the comment period. And then it's looking like end of July, August was when the MJ stocks are going to start to heat up, no pun intended. And then we'll jump into more of the MJ sector here in just a moment once we get through. But we'll take a look at the broader market, crypto, and then we'll jump into MJ. Canopy Growth also announced it exercised its right to acquire acreage options, paving the way for acquisition by Canopy USA. So nothing that we didn't already expect. High Tide welcomes Alberta's decision to allow private label MJ sales, and we also have the 4 MSOs that could get buzzed on Ohio. So Ohio launch is imminent, really anytime now, any week, and it's looking like acreage has the biggest footprint there, and that was from Zuanic and Associates, that report. And as we know, Canopy just exercised its right to acquire acreage, and with rescheduling looking imminent as well, could happen. DEA official said it could happen as early as August, maybe September, but he believes that, I think it was he, believes that it was going to be before October, and then right before the elections, all of what I've been saying and what I believe as well. And that's going to be huge. Like I said, this is all coming at impeccable timing, really, for acreage, as they had I just posted a video on their earnings. It was atrocious. They had dropping revenue, and essentially they have a going concern. They're not sure if they're able to continue operating for the next 12 months, but good thing Canopy's coming in to acquire them, and Ohio's coming online, so it'll be a big beneficiary of all of that. Also, I'm going to play this clip here in just a moment, but Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse talks about XRP ETFs, gives a date, so he said that sometime in 2025. you could expect that. Also, GOP Congressional Committee adds MJ banking protections in key spending bill. So this is going to be interesting. Like I said, I think it's very possible that we get safe banking, maybe even a lame duck session potentially into the end of the year. But let's see if we can get Schedule 3 enactment and approved, like I said, over the next couple of months, and then approved before the elections, and then more than likely going to get uplisting and banking around the same time. And then Florida on the ballot. We have Ohio coming online, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. It's looking really good here into the end of the year, and that's especially the second half of 2024. But MJ has been one of the best performing sectors, and hopefully it can continue to remain that way leading into the end of the year. So I just posted this video not too long ago, and I basically was just watching an update, and I was wondering the other day, I was like, what's the update with regards to the bills going through Congress? If you remember, I've been sharing on the channel for a while now that there's some bills that should be going through Congress to ban Congress from owning stocks. If you recall, the Federal Reserve banned themselves from owning stocks in 2021 at the peak. Of course, they didn't do it at the bottom. They did it at the all-time highs, right? So exactly what we would expect. The crooks will be crooks, and we know like Nancy Pelosi, all these people have insider information, and this was an interview that I think was from 3 days ago at Consensus, which was the crypto event there for Ethereum. So this is great because we had it right on cue, and I was wondering about it. So we'll play this real quick for everybody.
Keeping the doors open there. Do you own any Bitcoin?
I don't trade any individual securities, buy any individual instruments, including Bitcoin, because me and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and Matt.
And one thing that was interesting there, he said, do you trade? And then he said, I don't trade any securities. And then he says, or instruments, and then says Bitcoin. So initially, it's almost as if he was lumping Bitcoin into the securities bucket, but he corrected and said instruments. So I think that was a very telling comment as well, but we'll roll on here.
Gates actually have a bill that we want to become law banning the purchase and trading of securities by members of Congress. I don't think we should be doing any of that because we have too much insider information.
Well, many would argue that has benefited the likes of Nancy Pelosi as well.
So, yeah, I've been saying on the channel for a while now, it doesn't take a monkey to figure, like a monkey could figure out. It doesn't take anybody with half a brain could easily figure out that, it's probably not a good idea for our lawmakers to be able to purchase individual stocks and securities or financial instruments. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe an ETF, but I don't even think that should be allowed, right? They literally have insider information, and this is a congressman who just admitted to that. He right from the horse's mouth, right? It's just so, like I said, a 2-year-old just learning to talk for the first time can probably put 2 and 2 together here that this wouldn't be a good idea, right? If you're constructing laws, if you're passing laws, you should not be able to invest in the equity markets. It's as simple as that. But anyways, I digress. So if this doesn't make your blood boil, though, I don't know what will.
Well, some other representatives, current and past, where they do have inside information and have been able to trade off that information and really increase their portfolios. What kind of support do you have for this bill, and what would it entail?
We have the American people support. The vast majority of Americans, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, support my bill. So I'm going to push very hard.
Well, you got Matt Gaetz and AOC.
Right.
So clearly some unusual bipartisanship on that front.
That is correct. And I think because of that unusual alliance, I think that we will get movement. I'm going to push Speaker Mike Johnson as well.
All right. So I 100% agree. We have the American people. I'm from Canada, but if you're from America, make sure to reach out to your elected officials, your representatives in your area, and let them know that you want this changed, right? You don't want they're put in power, they're creating laws, they work for us, the people, and we the people, like you said, he has the people on their side, because like I said, anybody with half a brain, and I'm sure everybody listening to me right now would agree that these lawmakers should not be able to own individual stocks. But the flip side of that is, once they ban themselves from owning stocks, there's going to be no reason to keep it up, right? And they're going to be forced to sell, and it's going to be like, we're going to look like heroes. We're forced to sell. Look what we're doing for the American people. Look what we're doing to show transparency and integrity, right? Something that we know they have absolutely none of. So, it's just going to be optics, and really just political theater at the end of the day, but they're going to be forced to sell just like the Federal Reserve staff were in 2021, and then it crashed. Some stocks, Netflix, Tesla crashed, almost 80%. So you have to, be aware of it and call it for what it is, call a spade a spade. And at the end of the day, once they top this market out, and it's not a coincidence, again, we're at all-time highs again, right when they're talking about banning Congress. So watch for Congress being banned from owning stocks and interest rates being cut. Once they start to lower interest rates, typically it's around 6 months sweet spot before the markets start to tank. They cut rates in 1929, they cut rates in 2000, they cut rates in 2008, and then again in 2020, and we all know what came after that, right? So in this time we're at the highest we've ever been, and we've had about 10 years worth of gains condensed into 2 years. The S&P returns about 10 to 15% on average per annum. So if the fact that we went up over 125% in a couple of years tells you that the risk is to the downside, right? So you just have to be very, very cautious and have a game plan. If you haven't seen my video, how I'm preparing for one of the worst market crashes in history, then check that out. I go over my top 10 things that I'm doing to protect against a pretty sizable market pullback. And when I talk about pullback, I'm talking like a 40, 50+% correction on the S&P 500 from all-time highs, right? And that wouldn't even be that bad. That only put us like just under 300, which we were at almost 200 in March of 2020, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Taking a look at the crypto space. So we did break above 71K very briefly on Bitcoin. So we're very close to confirming the monthly bull flag. The key resistance is the all-time high there at 73,757. Break that, then monthly uptrend, monthly bull flag confirmed in a monthly uptrend, and we take our measured move, and it's saying about $164,000 per Bitcoin. But I know it sounds crazy, but if you just go from the all-time high to that new that new measured move there and new all-time high that we would be set in blue sky breakout, that's only about 125% of upside from the previous all-time high. So, and crypto can easily go up 100%. It's like a regular Friday afternoon for crypto, right? So I think Canopy Growth at one point was up like 75, 80% in a day. So if Canopy Growth can go up 70, 80% in one day, Bitcoin, believe me, can go up 100%. One more time here before the end of this bull market. Lots of people, analysts saying that, it's going to go 200,000, 400,000. I'm not really in that camp. I think it's closer to the top than it is the bottom. Closer to the top than most people think. And then I think we're going to be, we're definitely not going to go back to new lows or anything like that, or all-time lows. I doubt that's going to happen. But, I think time is running out. And if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance as well, Bitcoin dominance is a weekly downtrend, and we're right at key resistance that has been long-term resistance. So we're right there. We're showing some upper wicks, showing selling pressure and bull exhaustion. So we're getting above that resistance line. And I'll just change it to red there as well so we know it's resistance for next time. But you can see here we confirmed a weekly downtrend. We had our high, low, lower high, and lower low. When we're in an uptrend, you have higher lows and higher highs, right? Another weekly downtrend here, lower high, lower low. Came down, bull flag, weekly higher low, higher high, weekly uptrend confirmed, broke to another higher high. And here we are starting a new weekly uptrend, and we actually had an inverse head and shoulders here on the Bitcoin dominance as well. And you can just draw that out real quick here. So you take your head, or your left shoulder, your head, and right shoulder, and then draw that out. There you go. So it said measured move there was targeting roughly 58, and we hit 57, just over 57. So we came pretty close to hitting that. So we have to come to terms with the fact that this could be Bitcoin dominance starting to stall out here pretty soon. Maybe we see one more final move on Bitcoin, and then after that it consolidates, pulls back, and then that money rotates. I still think we're going to hit somewhere around 5 to 7 trillion market cap, and we're sitting only just under 3 trillion right now on crypto. Yeah, so we're at 2.61 trillion. I think 5 to 7 should be a pretty conservative target for the market, and that means we could easily double from here, right? Maybe even triple. So right now, weekly downtrend, and we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the Bitcoin dominance EMAs, which would be the first time since all the way back in July of 2022. So watch for monthly consolidation to occur very soon, and we haven't consolidated on the monthly time frame since way back in December of 2023. So watch for that to occur, and that would be great for altcoins. And the DXY is really starting to break down as well. If we take a look at the dollar, so yeah, we lost the daily uptrend. We zoom out to the weekly consolidation underway, and we did confirm a double top and then a weekly downtrend there as well. And we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the dollar, which would bode well for crypto and stocks here in the second half And we could be gearing up for a monthly downtrend with a lower high, lower low. I mentioned that the most likely scenario is just a lower high compared to 107.34, and we hit 106.51. Now we're starting monthly consolidation, having lost the low of last month. So it's all about key support there at 100 psychological. Lose that. Monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, probably going to confirm a monthly downtrend and head towards monthly oversold, which would probably put us somewhere around that 93 mark, maybe even a flush of 93 down into the 80s. But again, this is just a currency index tracking the US dollar compared to other fiat currencies, right? It doesn't mean that the purchasing power is going up. It just means that the dollar is stronger relative to other, the pound, the yen, the won, the euro, right? Canadian dollars, etc. So it's not a value of how strong the dollar is. It's just comparing it to other currencies around the world. So in terms of crypto, we do have a nice steady uptrend here on most names. Litecoin standing out a bit here. In terms of gainers and losers on the day today, we have ZEC, we have BNB and ETC leading the bull list. And on the bear list, we have GMX, QKC, and AMP. XRP is looking ready to go realistically anytime now. Any week now. Still waiting for that final ruling from Judge Torres. Probably going to see a very small fine. I think it's going to be somewhere around the 50 to 100 million mark for their institutional sales. I can't see it being any more than that. The SEC is seeking $2 billion in a non-fraudulent case, and there was no harm done to any investors. So they can't prove disgorgement. They can't prove that there was any harm done or any losses. All they said was that, the early investors could have got a better price. Well, they didn't lose money. They're still up. So you're gonna take money from Ripple as a penalty and then give it to institutions. That money has to go to the institutions. So they're already up. You're going to take money from the taxpayers. The taxpayers are paying for this SEC nonsense, but you're going to take money from Ripple, who pays tax. It's a private company, and then you're going to take that money and give it to people who are already up in their positions. It doesn't make any sense. So I'd say it's going to be a very, very small fine, if at all. Maybe they just dismissed the debt boss case. So we'll see what happens. But SEC is looking like clowns. Ron DeSantis and Gary Gensler, best buds there in clown school. So moving over to indices. The S&P 500. So the S&P 500 confirmed a monthly bull flag. So that increases the odds that Bitcoin's probably going to break its previous all-time high there at 73,757, and then more than likely see a monthly bull flag confirmed. But yeah, it's a monthly inside bar on the S&P 500 right now, and we're still just looking for that monthly bull flag continuation and follow through, targeting 620. The high of last month was 533. That's the new all-time high. So we'll be looking for that to break this month, and if so, we'll continue our ascent up to around that 620 measured move from the monthly bull flag. If you just take your low to the high, move it out to your 0.382 fib, there you go, 620. Already did the dollar, precious metals. So gold and silver, monthly inside bars as well, and gold looking really good. It was a monthly ascending triangle, ignoring this little part here in bear trap. I said we were targeting 2762, and we also had a bull flag as well saying 27. So it's looking like we're going to be heading there very, very soon. We actually hit 2,450. So from where we were last month, we're only about 12% away. Just got to love technical analysis. Same thing on silver. It was targeting about 39, and we hit 32.51. So still could see, even on silver, still could see another 24% of upside. So look for silver to outperform as well versus relative strength to gold. Individual names on the day today, we had Hive, DMGI, Hut, Coin, Mara, so all the blockchain names and crypto names, seeing tons of bid support today. And we had CODE, FFIE, and HP leading the decline. GME volatility continues, monthly inside bar there as well, not to be surprised by that because of the massive range. That candle from last month had a range of about 83%, and we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. So Roaring Kitty sitting up. What was the last? Let's check the Power Group private community here. We were talking about it earlier this morning. But yeah, I think he had, I won't bring it up right now, just at an effort of time, but I think he was over north of, I think he was like close to 250 million, so a quarter of a billion. So could easily see, Keith Gill could easily see himself reach billionaire status here, given the right circumstances. But it's looking good. Monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. I won't be touching it with a 10-foot pole, but keep in mind he bought down in the, way before this massive pop rate. So not really the same. All All right, moving on. Oh, as a reminder, NVDA 1-for-10 regular stock split coming up soon. When was it? The 10th, I believe. Yeah, 10 for 1 split on June 10th. So that'll be Monday, next Monday. So if you wake up and you're wondering what the F is going on, it's just the 10 for 1 stock split. So basically price, if we did it right now, it'd be $116 versus $1,164. Nothing changes. The market cap stays the same. Shares go up, price go down. Inverse of a reverse stock split, right? Where the price go up, shares go down. And we have to be very cautious. They usually only do these splits near tops, right? Because they're using retail as exit liquidity. People are saying, oh, I don't have $1,164 or close to $1,500 if you're Canadian to invest in Nvidia. But they do a 10 for 1 or 1 for 10 regular stock split, and then it's only $116, and people are like, oh, I can buy 1 or 2 shares, and then they buy it at all-time highs and monthly overbought territory, and then they crash it 80%, right? So, and we are seeing hidden bearish RSI divergence here on the RSI. If we zoom out to the monthly as well, it's on the monthly, so it's very apparent. You can see here we're right at that resistance. So price is going up, RSI is trending down. That's called hidden bearish RSI divergence, and generally not a good thing. But it is a monthly bull flag on NDA as well, similar to the S&P 500, and it's targeting 1,854. So in terms of percentage, I like to think of percentages rather than price. That's about 60% of upside from here. So from the low of October 2023, in 8 months, we're up 200%. Why can't we go up another 60%? In terms of Canadian MJ today, struggles continue, but WIB huge and high tide leading the bull list. I did reach out to Raj Grover today as well. He followed me on X, so we'll see. I know he's a busy man. I'm not sure how often he checks X or Twitter, but send him a direct message, see if we can get him on for an interview. I know a lot of you have been asking for that, so hopefully, fingers crossed. XTRX, DB, and VFF leading the bear list. Actually, VFF starting monthly consolidation as well. I've been building a position. I added around 130, 115. I'm going to look to scoop some up again around in the 90s, in 90 cents. So I think this I just added it to my portfolio not too long ago. It wasn't in my 2024 MJ portfolio update with percentage breakdown, but I just recently added it. Also added Cron as well, a bit more Oxley. I think I added another US name. I can't recall here though off the top of my head, but I'll be looking to add some more US names once they start to pull back a little bit more than they already have. But yeah, VFF could be going back down to under $1. People think we're going to reverse split again, and it could be a nice opportunity, but obviously not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. Just my own thoughts and opinions. USMJ. So we didn't have too bad a movement here after acreage kind of catching a bid after it was named the top company, and the news about Canopy acquiring it. SHWZ and RWB leading the bull list, and on the bear list we have BAM, MRMD, and CBSTF. BAM getting absolutely rocked, getting close to the all-time low there at 4.5 cents. Small operator, very, very small cap, but profitable and could be a buyout target. We'll see, but not looking too good there in terms of technicals. MSOS, so monthly consolidation underway here as well, losing the low of last month. 766 was the low of last month. We're so far 755, the low of this month. So not a massive pullback, but we're coming up on key support there at 730. We need to hold that support there at 730, or we lose the monthly uptrend because we would lose the higher low, higher high pattern. So we need to hold that higher low. So if you're looking, this might not be a bad swing trade either. If you're looking for a swing trade idea, you can enter with a stop below 730. So you could even allow some wiggle room. You could say, 697 or 689 and look to swing this. If we go back just to prior, if you get it close to that support, we go back to prior resistance there from a couple months ago, that's about a 53% of upside. And if we go to the next level resistance on the price action, that's about 100% of upside. So even if you entered now and you put your stop just under $7, or from the low of this month, we'll use, if you would have entered from the low of this month and set your stop just under $7, you risk 8% to make 50 to 100%. So that's great risk to reward. So if you're looking for a swing trade, might be a decent, or you could try to get it closer to that 730 support as well. No signs of monthly consolidation being over yet. We're still in a weekly downtrend. You can see here with lower highs and lower lows, which indicates monthly consolidation. If it was a daily downtrend confirming, then it'd be weekly consolidation more than likely. Not all the time, but in 80 to 90% of the time. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the weekly which means we could see further downside from here. And then on the daily time frame, we could be heading to daily oversold as well. And it's actually a daily bear flag. Yeah, it's another flag that's forming as well. So we just go from there to there. Get a rough move here, says, yeah, 685. So it could be heading to 685 for a monthly higher low. But 730, we'll need that to hold. Maybe they go down and they flush it down. That's what they typically do, right? Right at support, they flush it down, and then they try to get you to fake you out, right? And you usually see that final bear trap and that final shakeout before the big breakout. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did go down, stop loss hunt 730, create a bit of a panic. Maybe we go down to 7, slightly below 7, and then they start to rebound it. But no way, in my opinion, no way we're going back to $5 or below on MSOS. We just confirmed the first ever monthly uptrend, so I would say we're off to the races here. But definitely going to be pullbacks and turbulence along the way, even from the recent high on this monthly bounce and 52-week high. We're sitting at negative 33%. I think that was the 52-week high. Yeah, for sure. All right. I think that's all I had to say. We'll jump into the chat here. Jamrosi, which article was that from MJ Moment? Came out 4 hours ago. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. You can take a quick peek here. I'm just going to have a drink of tea. Was it this one here? GOP Congressional Committee removes DC MJ sales ban and adds MJ banking protection to key spending bill. Yeah, I did share that in the Pal Group private community when it came out earlier today. And I also just shared Todd Harrison's comment here as well. He even went as far as providing the screenshot directly there. So that's great to see. Yeah, I think MJ banking, I think we're going to see uplisting to the NASDAQ more than likely. Really in due course. I think it's going to be all around the same time that we get rescheduling. It's going to make these exchanges warming up a lot more to it, and it's going to make these congressmen and women more warming up to the fact, butter them up a little bit to the fact that rescheduling is happening, and they just know that the genie's out of the bottle, right? The cat's out of the hat. You can't put it back now, right? The toothpaste out of the tube, so to speak. So it's just going to keep, like Boris Jordan said from Cureleaf, it's a return to growth, right? So there's going to be pullbacks along the way. There's going to be frustrating price, action and things like that and manipulation. But at the end of the day, everything's looking fantastic. So I'm just going to jump into the PAL Group members to see if they have any ticker requests. So I want to give precedence to the PAL Group paid members. So we'll do that. And then depending on how much time, I'll try to get through as many ticker requests here live and questions live. So we'll take a look at the first PAL Group member, PLTR. You want to take a look at Palantir? Sure, we can do that. So monthly inside bar is very similar to the rest of our risk on assets. We have a very strong monthly uptrend, low, high, higher, low, and higher, high. And just making sure my sound and everything was still coming through clearly. Perfect. So yeah, we had our higher low and higher high, another higher low and higher high, another higher low and higher high. So this is what you call an extremely strong monthly uptrend versus a downtrend here, right? With lower highs and lower lows. This is a very strong downtrend. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And even here we had a bear flag. So just a quick estimate. So if we go from the low to the high, move it out to our 0.382 fib, it said we were targeting 617 and we hit 592. So that's another example, right, where you have a target and then they exceed it, they overshoot it, they create a panic, and then it rebounds from there, similar to what I think MSOS could happen with 730 support. But how can someone say technical analysis doesn't work? We were in a monthly downtrend and it was a bear flag targeting perfectly. It literally played out to perfection. So anybody who tells you that the technical analysis doesn't work, they just don't know how to use it, right? And it's not a guarantee, it's probabilities, right? I like to track about 8 to 10 indicators and patterns and things like that. So if I'm looking at all these indicators, these patterns, these indicators, all these different things, right? If I see 8 out of 10 are bearish, well, I'm going to be bearish. If 8 out of 10 are saying, that's $7 to $6 and we're at $10, or in this case, we're at $22 and 8 out of 10 indicators are saying, bearish and we're heading to 10, well, I'm going to be more on the side of thinking 10. If 8 out of the 10 indicators that I like to track are saying bullish and we're going to $40, well, I'm going to be in the camp of $40, right? So it's all about, putting technicals along with the fundamentals, along with the macro, what's going on in the world, the elections, all this stuff, right, plays a big factor. So, and it comes with experience. But as of right now, we're still in a monthly uptrend. We did form a lower high, so we could potentially confirm a monthly downtrend with a lower low here. So I want to see $20.33 support hold. That's going to be key, but realistically, we've been holding these EMAs. So as long as we maintain above 1775, call it, I think we could potentially see a bit of a bear trap and one more final flush. But I want to see that level hold there, 2033. You could even try to get it closer to that level. The low of this month was 2101, so you could have added there with a stop just below. But yeah, if you just give me the ticker as well, if you let me know, are you already in a position? Are you looking to short, go long? Are you looking to add? Are you looking to sell? All these things can help me kind of cater and tailor the response a little bit more to your situation. But obviously, I'm not telling you to buy full hold. But if you don't want my unbiased opinion, then I can just shoot the ticker and I can look, right? But yeah, weekly downtrend, lower high and lower low. It was actually a weekly head and shoulders here as well, with a left shoulder head, right shoulder, but it does look like downside could be limited. We're holding that EMA 26 as rock bottom support there on the weekly. But yeah, that 2033 is going to be important. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, but pretty choppy right now. When you zoom out to a name and it's in a monthly inside bar, this just happened with Canopy and a lot of MJ names after we had that big move here, right here. And then we were monthly inside bar. A lot of people were messaging me looking for a day trade, looking for a swing trade, looking for a few week trade, few day trade. When you're in a monthly inside bar, that just means chop, right? So even with PLTR, same thing. It just means you're tightening up. There's no real clear direction. So whichever way we break out of this monthly inside bar will be telling, right? That's when we're going to break out of this range, and then volatility we can expect to ensue, right? So it's just when you're in these monthly inside bars, it just means the price is compressed within the range of last month, which means you're not getting any real direction, right? You're just getting chop, and then you could see the lower level time frames pretty choppy. So that's why I'd be a little, weary of the fact that we're going to lose that 2033. We might just continue to tighten up for a little bit, and then it's really going to be dictated probably by the broader market. What's the rest of the broader market doing? But yeah, you can see the daily time frame super choppy. We're just stuck in this range right here, right? PLTR on the weekly time frame. Yeah, we just had this. So we had a very big warning sign here where we lost the 10-week moving average. We started monthly consolidation. We confirmed the weekly downtrend, the head and shoulders. We had the stochastic gave us the early clue. Usually that happens. Usually the stochastic crosses first, bullish here. In this scenario, it crossed first. So that was our early indication. Once the weekly stock RSI crossed, that was our early heads up and clue that momentum was shifting. Then we closed above the 10-week moving average. It's usually in this order: stochastic, then 10-week, then MACD. Then sure enough, MACD a few months later, or a little over a month later, crossed bullish, and then it was off to the races. And then we had a pullback. Doesn't mean there's not going to be turbulence and healthy corrections. And then we went to a higher high, right? And then same thing here. We had a stochastic bear cross first, then a loss of the 10-week moving average, then the MACD. Same thing here. Stochastic cross bullish first, then above the 10-week moving average, then the MACD, exactly. So then now, stochastic, we lost the 10-week moving average. Right here was your second clue. Once we lost that 10-week, and then MACD shortly after. And then from there, we dropped all the way down to 2033 from a high of $27, right? Now we're gearing up for a bull cross over the next few weeks. So like I said, it's very choppy, but just watch for which way we break out of that monthly inside bar, and monthly uptrend remaining intact, the most important factor. We do have the 50 weekly there at $18.99. So that should be, that if we do lose 2033, look for that $19 area as the next support. Yeah, and it's not looking too hot here on the daily time frame. You can see here we lost the 50-day moving average. We got above it, immediately came down, even lost the 100, and now we're acting as resistance. And previous support became new resistance. Not what you want to see, and we're rejecting. If we can get back above it and close 2, preferably 3 daily candles above it, then we should expect bulls to start to gain momentum. But as of right now, it's not looking too hot. We could be heading down to that 200-day moving average at 1940 again. Very, very strong support, and then maybe come down, touch on it, confirm it as support, then start to see a pretty big relief rally. But we could even be gearing up for a death cross rather, which would be the first time on PLTR since way back in the end of 2021, November, December 2021. So we have to be cognizant of that as well. Next one from the Power Group private members, we've got Cresco. I always think that's Cureleaf when I look at it. CURLF and then CRLBF is Cresco. So we'll take a look at Cresco here on the OTC MJ name for those that are not aware. So this is one of those names that it's been a laggard, right? So in different sectors, whether it be MJ, crypto, AI, big tech, right? Everything EV, they all move in tandem, not down to the day, the second, the minute. But if you zoom out to the monthly time frame, when in doubt, zoom out, look at the monthly chart, look at the yearly chart, go to the 12-month time frame, right? They all look very same. If you go to the 12-month time frame on Cureleaf as well, look very similar, right? Just a little bit minute difference in terms of percentage drop, or from all-time high or 52-week high. Some instances, like GTBIF, Green Thumb only dropped, I think it was like 60 or 70%. If we just take a quick peek at GTB, I'll just type it in, GTBIF. So yeah, from its all-time high to the low, it dropped 83%. Yeah, so it's still quite a bit. But if you take a look at CRLBF, so its high of February 2021, an all-time high, it dropped over 94%, right? So some hold up better than the others. But again, if you take a look at CRLBF and then GTBIF, the charts look fairly similar. It's just you have to zoom in, right? We were consolidating on the 12-month time frame, and that's not the greatest example. You could probably say CURLF would be better, right? So that one there, very similar to that one. So again, when in doubt, zoom out, look at the monthly, look at the yearly, and Cureleaf had confirmed a monthly uptrend long ago. So now Cresco, after the failed merger, right, with now the Cannabis Co., it was just, the technicals were saying it wasn't as strong. And we have our low, our high, our higher low, and now we're looking for the higher high. We got very close here in the month of February, and then again in April once we got the DEA news that they were agreeing with Schedule 3 and HHS, but now we're just stuck. So we're looking for this key resistance here at 277 USD to break. If we break that, monthly uptrend confirmed, and then we'll be targeting EMA 26 as our next resistance, which is at $2.80 USD. And then after that, next price action is at 420. Gotta love it. So it's looking like 420 is in the cards. And if we take a look at GTBIF, another leader in the space, it got well beyond its monthly EMA 26. It got like 35% above it. So if CRLBF were to do something similar and get about 35% above that, that'd put us somewhere around the $3.70 mark. So looking pretty decent. We have next support coming up here at 150, and then after that it'll be 106. So you can say $1 psychological. But monthly inside bar as well, just tightening up. But with everybody else starting monthly consolidation, right? If you look at CGC, look at ACB, look at MSOS, they're all losing the low of last month. So names that haven't done so yet increases the odds that they might as well. But then you have to look at Cresco and say, okay, well, it's a laggard. It hasn't confirmed a monthly uptrend yet. Well, a lot of other names, including MSOS ETF, confirmed the first ever monthly uptrend. So what did we see with SNDL? What did we see with High Tide? They kind of, OGI went against the grain for a bit. It started to steal the show. It started to be one of the best performers. And then it was, High Tide and SNDL. And then for a bit, VFF was taking the spotlight. In the US, it was Cureleaf and AYR. They were rocking. And then, Florida on the ballot. So Trulieve started to rock. And then GTB just always kicking butt, right? Had great earnings, and then Trulieve had that 58% margin. So and now we're starting to see pullback, right? And after that blowout early earnings, TCNNF, right? All retail's like, oh my God, 58% margins, and then boom, here we are down almost 40%, right? So this is what they do, and this is why I said be very cautious. We hadn't consolidated on the monthly time frame since 379, so that means we hadn't lost the low of the previous monthly candle in 7 months, over half a year, and we needed to expect that monthly consolidation to begin. But we are holding monthly MA12 here, so it's not looking too bad. But hopefully that helps. CRLBF. On the weekly time frame, we did have a stochastic and a MACD bear cross as well, and we lost the 10-week moving average. So yeah, it's not looking too hot there in terms of our weekly macros, in terms of our weekly moving averages. Whoops. And hopefully my daughter's crying in the background. I think my partner's trying to feed her. She just woke up from a nap, so hopefully that's not too distracting. I know it is for me a little bit, but we'll power through it. Yeah, we're right on that 50 weekly moving average as well. That's at 179. We're at 182. So let's see if we can hold the week above that. And a lot of names topped out at their 100 weekly moving average. TLRY was one of them. So some of the, like TLRY is kind of similar, right? It hasn't confirmed a monthly uptrend yet. It's just bouncing and in between key support and key resistance. So it's very similar. And it topped out right at its 100 as well. And then same thing, high tide. Got above its, but let's see, OGI. Yeah, OGI topped out right at the 100. So the laggards, the names that aren't in monthly uptrends, the names that are in Canada, Cron, VFF, High Tide, SNDL. So OGI not in a monthly uptrend. So if you want to compare Tilray or CRLBF that are not in monthly uptrends, you don't want to look at the ones that are in monthly uptrends in the sector. You want to look at the ones that have yet to do so. So the ones that would be similar would be like an OGI or a Tilray or a CGC. And where did CGC top out? Oh, look at that, right by the 100 weekly moving average. So if you went to CRLBF and said, okay, we're very similar in the chart, so we're right at that 100 weekly, we might potentially pull back. Then we had those upper wicks showing selling pressure and bull exhaustion, and then sure enough came back down from that 250, over 250, down to around that 180, right? And a lot of names still had yet to confirm monthly uptrends, CL, Cresco included, so that increased the odds that we were going to see a little bit more pullback from there. In terms of our daily moving averages, we just had the golden cross as well, which is the first time since way back in August of 2020. So yeah, 3 years. We had the death cross. Price went from about $11 all the way down to $1. Now we had the golden cross first time in 3 years, and we're looking for, like I said, just that monthly uptrend to confirm, which the most important factor is there at 277. Break that monthly uptrend, confirm, and looking good. All right, hopefully that helps. That's it for Power Group members by the looks of it. So we'll jump in. Sitting at 42 minutes. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time, but we'll try to get through as much as possible. Hello, Rod. Thank you as always. Just for fun, look at Mullen Automotive, ticker MULN. Hello. Yeah, we can take a look at that real quick. So MULN. Yeah, so it was a monthly inside bar, but it looks like it is losing the low. No, still a monthly inside bar, so key support there at 361. Actually, yeah, we did hit 358, so we're losing it. You could set a stop just below that if you're looking for an entry. It is a bear flag, though, with a lower high, lower low, so it's not looking good here. Yeah, this is like black dirt breakdown. This is not looking good. We had 3 splits. Whoa, 1 for 25, 1 for 9, 1 for 100. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't put like more than $100 into this thing. Unless your net worth is like $1 million, maybe 1,000. I definitely wouldn't put a whole lot into this. I don't know anything about it fundamentally speaking either, but yeah, this looks like a dumpster fire. Not gonna lie. Just be very, very careful. But yeah, one way you could play it, set a stop below the lowest low last month there at 361. Look to play a bounce, but I'd just be very, very cautious on this one. Yeah, we're in the floor on the RSI as well. If it's an automotive company and it's this beaten down, I would assume it's into electric vehicles. I don't know though, but yeah, I would assume it's EV, and yeah, it's not looking good. You have to, the thing that with these automotive companies, especially EVs, right, is they don't make money. A lot of them are in production, or they're not profitable yet, and they have the other automotive companies to compete with, and Tesla, right? So it's going to be hard for them all. It's like the early days of the internet or the early days of MJ, right? Everybody, there's 1,000 producers, and there's going to be consolidation, right? There's going to be a lot of people that lose a lot of money. So just be very cautious. Definitely don't break the bank or risk any more than you're willing to lose. But hopefully that helps. Dave Joyce just quietly inserted safe banking into tomorrow's appropriations bill markup. Yeah, so I've been saying for a while, we need to be ready for a surprise, and what people aren't being ready for, in my opinion, is the inevitability of Schedule 3 enactment and final ruling being approved a lot quicker, right? We had that article from Green Market Report saying it could take up to 7 years, and then I interviewed Morgan Fox, political director at Normal, and he said, this could be a multi-year process, and I'm like, nah. No. If you're like me, if you studied financial markets for 18 plus years, you know that it's going to be sooner than later. And again, if you just use your brain and, Biden, the only reason why I got put in office, not to get political, I could care less. I'm from Canada. Don't care who wins. I hate all politics. But, whoever is supportive of MJ, I'm not even a voter because I'm not in the U.S. But if I were in the U.S., I'd be a one-issue voter, and it would be who's going to be the best for MJ, right? So a lot of one-issue voters in the U.S. right now for crypto. That's why they're looking at Trump. But again, not getting political, not telling you who to vote for. But at the end of the day, their political death sentence rides on it, because if they don't get this rescheduled before the elections, it's just going to be a landslide for the counterparty, right? So OGI, yeah, we can take a look at OGI. So OGI, not immune to the sector weakness, obviously, and after that dilution, after massive news, that's exactly what I said, right? You had leaders and laggards, and on this move, we were no longer in a monthly downtrend because we broke resistance there at $2, so that broke the lower high, lower low pattern, but we didn't have a higher low and higher high. What do we have here now? We have the higher low forming. So if you take a look at Tilray started the monthly higher low way back in October of 2023, right? Low, high, higher low. Now we're looking for the higher high, just chop here, right within this range, right? So OGI is essentially where Tilray just was, where I was just showing you, is right here, right? We're losing the low of the previous monthly candle, meaning we're consolidating, pulling back. So now we're just doing what Tilray did back in October of 2023, and now we're looking for this higher low, and then just like Tilray's looking for now is a higher high. So OGI is right in the same spot essentially as Tilray now, looking for that higher high. And that's why I'm confident in thinking that over the next couple months, leading into the comment period of July 22nd is the cutoff day. I think the end of July into August, and then really into the fall is when we're going to start to see, we should start to see prices rebound, these monthly higher lows form over the next month or two. And then we'll start the bounce. We'll break the high of the previous monthly candle. When that happens, watch for tons of names to confirm monthly uptrends. And we're probably going to see 100, 200, 300% moves to the upside, probably off the back of some sort of banking being done, uplisting to the NASDAQ. We know Curaleaf said they were in discussions with a U.S. major exchange, and the NASDAQ recently said it's warming up to Canadian companies with U.S. exposure. So let's put two and two together. Curaleaf didn't say who it was, but if the NASDAQ's starting to warm up to Canadian companies with U.S. exposure, we can probably assume it's going to be the NASDAQ that Curaleaf uplists to. And that's where all the Canadian, for the most part, Canadian names are playing right and are trading, is on the NASDAQ. It was the NYSE, and then it moved to the NASDAQ. So couple that with Florida. I think Florida's going to get approved as well. Germany fast-tracking Pillar 2. Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Hampshire, other states that could potentially come online. We have other countries. Oh man, it's just, if you didn't have a good reason to be an MJ investor, irregardless of price, like not factoring in price, forget about price. Price is the worst thing to look at if you're trying to evaluate a company or find out whether or not this is a good time to get in, right? If something's down at 52-week lows or all-time lows, then yeah, it's probably a good time to get in. But is the company financially sound? Is it going to be here in 5, 10, 20 years from now, right? So it's all about finding the companies that are going to reach blue chip status, right? And yeah, it's a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here as well. Left shoulder, head, right. So if we ignore that upper wick, just to kind of give us a rough estimate. Yeah, it was saying about 285 and we hit 291. So again, technical analysis, you gotta love it. But just looking for that monthly higher low, we'll know that the monthly higher low is established once we confirm a weekly uptrend. OGI, yes, we already had the stochastic and the MACD bear cross and follow through, tons of follow through. So it's looking like downside could be limited. In terms of support, I'd be looking at 150 and then 125. Weekly time frame, yeah, 125. And then $1 psychological. So 150, we have a level there, 155, and then, yeah, 125, and then one psychological. And we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross here on the weekly. So it's looking like, I've been saying for a while now too, daily oversold would be a nice area to target for entries. So we're very close now. We're sitting at 35.84 on the RSI. Anything 30 and below is considered daily oversold. So watch for daily oversold to be a nice entry there. And I do have something I have to take. I have an Airbnb inquiry. Just give me 1 second. Let me just go here. Looking to stay for a few nights, so I just want to get back to him because he's requesting this. Just one moment. Yeah, I had an issue too yesterday with my Airbnb. Had a double booking from booking.com and Verbo. I realized that the calendar sync wasn't working, so I finally got that figured out today. Always something. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Summertime, so busy for short-term rentals. Recently just got all my business licenses as well renewed. City of Edmonton. All right. All right, that is done. All right, jumping back into it. I just wanted to do that since he had been waiting for a response there for half an hour or so. So yeah, hopefully that helps with OGI. Rate on that 50 weekly as well, sitting at 163. There's a lot of support there. We also have the 200 rate there at 165, so there's a lot of support, but again, same thing, gearing up for a death cross, but it was the first golden cross in 3 years, over 3 years. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we went back down to around that 150. Somewhere around 150, 125, I think it'd be a decent area to scout a monthly higher low. And then the low to the high here, we also have the 0.786 at 139. So that means we could see like, another 14% of downside, which is definitely possible. All right. Tilray. Yeah, we can take a look at Tilray. So Tilray, kind of similar to OGI, we're just looking for the monthly higher low. So we're just monthly inside bar. We did lose the low of last month by 3 pennies, but it's holding up well. So we've only lost the low. So 178 was the low of last month. 175 was the low of this month. There's a difference. See, we had already been consolidating on the monthly time frame, whereas CDC didn't start monthly consolidation after a massive move from the low there to the high. It was up over 400%. So when it starts monthly consolidation, it's going to be substantial. So the low of last month was 820, and we're already at 740. So way more than 3 pennies, right? So, and CDC still in a monthly downtrend. So it's very weak comparatively to the rest of the sector. Same thing with Aurora. Aurora's still in a monthly downtrend and just starting monthly consolidation, but that's good because we'll look for a monthly higher low on the names that haven't confirmed monthly uptrends to form here this month and next month, and then look for the rest of the sector, all names at once to confirm monthly uptrends who haven't done so yet. High tide, low, high, higher low, and higher high. All rising high tide lifts all boats. Let's go. We got Tilray just looking for key support to hold at 160. After that, it's the must hold support at 150 and the all-time low, because if we lose that, then we're just in a monthly downtrend continuation. So we need that to be done. But all about 340 resistance there, USD on the NASDAQ, break that monthly uptrend confirmed. One thing I wanted to show, though, Tilray is looking like it's ready to run here. We already had the bear cross on the stochastic and the MACD, and we lost the 10-week moving average, so it's looking like downside here could be limited as well. In terms of the weekly, we're below all the 10-week or all of the weekly moving averages, so that's not a great sign. But in terms of the daily time frame, if we zoom in here to the lower time frame, you can see we're gearing up for a golden cross. So I don't think we're going to lose 160, to be honest. I think we'll hold it. And then if we can get this banking and uplisting and Schedule 3 enactment and Florida and Ohio and Pennsylvania and New Hampshire and Germany fast-tracking Pillar 2. Like, there's so many catalysts. And I think, like I said, I think we're a lot closer than people think. Pelosi belongs behind bars, absolutely. CBSTF. I think they just got delisted CBSTF, didn't they? Or no, that's a different one. My bad. Yeah, this is not looking good. Not a name I like, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a reason why Cresco didn't acquire them. And yeah, it's in a monthly downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, while a lot of names in the U.S., like look at MSOS, right? The name that tracks all the major major producers in the U.S., low, high, higher, low, and higher, high, higher, low, and higher, high. And then you look at CBSTF, and it's in lower highs and lower lows. So it's a monthly downtrend. We had key support there at 21 cents, and we lost that. So that's another lower low. This is not looking good. Next support would be, just psychological numbers. So 15, 10, 5, 0. But yeah, I'd be very cautious on this name. They missed every single earnings, it looks like, pretty much, except for a few. But yeah, I'd be very cautious. Earnings have been dwindling a little bit. CBSTF. Yeah, just had a MACD and stochastic bear cross, losing the 10-week moving average. There's not a whole lot of bullishness going on in this chart. Way below all the 10-week moving, or the 50, or sorry, the weekly moving averages and the 50 weekly, all below the daily moving averages. So, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. If there hasn't been a bad news report yet on this one, there could be more forthcoming, and it's probably going to do with dilution or some kind of debt. Yeah, like the whole fact that Cresco didn't acquire them is a major red flag to me. Not a stock I own, but yeah, if I did own it and that happened, I'd have been probably running for the hills, to be honest with you. Hopefully that helps, though. MNMD, I'm sure we can take a look. MNMD, so monthly higher low looking to form. Well, look at that entry there, 2.5 cents. Or sorry, it's not the one. MNMD. I remember MVMD though. That thing's destroyed. There we go. Yeah, so this one had a 1 for 15 reverse split, rather. Mind medicine. But yeah, we're forming a monthly higher low, low, high, higher low, and higher high. So you could have entered there on a break of 428 when we confirmed the monthly uptrend. Yes, we would have came back down closer to that support, but could even have got it here, right? You could have been aggressive, entered there on a break of that resistance and looked to play. It'd be up almost 20%. Or you could have said, okay, I'm a little bit more conservative. I'm going to wait and get it closer to support. So we had key support there at 212. We hit 245, 241. Could even enter there on that monthly double bottom. And then that would have been a nice upside of about over 400%. Or you could have entered here at 245, 241. You said, okay, nice support around there. And then we have the low there at 212. So I can enter, set my stop below 212. So essentially you'd risk 10 to 15% and you'd now be up over 400%. So that's why technical analysis, support and resistance makes sense. And we're gearing up for a monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, the second time in history. And we're in a monthly uptrend. So it's looking good. Watch for potential for $8 area, or sorry, 12 EMA 12 670 could be a nice area of support. But if we use our fib tool here, we do have the golden pocket at 610 and the 0.786 at 450. So if you're somebody who's patient looking to get an entry, I'd probably look around that area there, somewhere around that $6 to $4.50. MNMD weekly MACD and stochastic bear cross, losing the 10-week moving average. So yeah, we knew to be expecting monthly consolidation and a pullback there. And then we do have the 50 and the 100 there at 528 and 497 respectively. So like I said, a lot of support in that mid fives to high fours. It's probably where I'd be looking to get it. And yeah, 100 there at 744 and the 200 at 540. So looking pretty good. Like I said, a lot of support in that area. That's what I'd be looking for. Weekly time frame real quick here. Yeah, weekly downtrend and head and shoulders there as well. So if we just get a quick estimate of where we could be going, head and shoulders are saying 564. So that's what I'm talking about. Confluence, right? Multiple indicators, patterns, and signals. So 564, and there we have 528, 540. So a lot of support in that 540 area, right? And a target in 540. So yeah, it could be heading down there. These are one of those names too, like the psychedelics. Like they're not making any money, and it's a lot based on clinical trials and research, right? So you're just bleeding money until you get either regulatory reform or these studies. Then it's that IP, right, that really makes them valuable. But I know Kevin O'Leary was backing this, but he also backed FTX, and then it was proved to be the biggest Ponzi scheme in crypto fraud in history. So yeah, just because a name like Kevin O'Leary backs it doesn't mean it's the best thing since sliced bread, right? You need to do your own research and buy it because you believe in it, not because some, Tom Brady, the roast of Tom Brady. He was in FTX too, right? Me know that not real money. Anybody watch that? That was hilarious. My favorite part was, well, I won't say the first part, but oh hell no's on it. I forget that guy's name, but that guy was by far my favorite. Yes, sir. Awesome. YOLO has consistently looked better than MSOS. Worth looking at. I've been in it for almost 4 years now. Yeah, so they mentioned that. I think Dan Aarons mentioned that. But this is a mix. Pretty good fund as well. They waive the fee, so they're not double dipping. But yeah, monthly uptrend. Low, high, higher low, and higher high. And the reason why it's performing a lot better is because the U.S. names have been pulling back a lot more because they ran a lot more, and the Canadian names are starting to outpace, right? And again, they're not on the U.S. major exchanges, so they're on OTC. A lot of brokers block MSOS ETF as well, and a lot of people in the U.S. can't trade Canadian names, right? Canadian exchanges. So it's just the floodgates. You're seeing billions of dollars traded in these Canadian names in a run of a day, right? And then comparatively, some U.S. names are only trading like $10 million or $20 million. So like 10 million versus $1 billion, like there's no comparison, right? But yeah, YOLO, a decent fund. I don't own any myself, but decent fund for sure. I think, having multiple MJ producers in Canada, multiple in the U.S., some retailers, mix of picks and shovels, try to diversify and get a few ETFs as well, right? And I think that's a great balanced portfolio and diversification, but not just being diversified within MJ. You don't want to be too diversified either. You don't want to put $100 or $1,000 into every single MJ company on the planet, right? You want to kind of pick maybe 5, 10. If you're a little bit more experienced, maybe you do 15, 20. I probably wouldn't go much more than like 25 companies, and I'd focus 5 on 5, right? That's where like 80%, 75% of my capital. Let's say I'm putting in $100,000, or let's say I'm putting in $10,000 into MJ, right? I'd put 7,500 of it probably into 5 companies, and then I'd spread the rest out. It's kind of like when you look at YOLO, look at the holdings of YOLO or MSOS. A lot of the main holdings are in the top 5 companies, right? And then the rest is just like 1%, 2%, 3%. Same idea, right? Tilray needs to hold 170. Yep. Well, 160 is key, and then 150 is the must-hold one. We're at close to 170. We're splitting hairs at that point. It's really all about 150. Nothing to be concerned about unless that breaks. Oh, my INSG friend in the house, Matt. Nice. How you doing? INSG, yeah. So I sold this. I took a pretty big chunk out, my initial investment, and we're still in a daily uptrend though, so no major red flags, and we did have a daily bull flag that was targeting 1253, and we hit 1117. But since I sold, we're down about 28%. I'm still holding a little. I only took a little bit my initial investment, so I'm still holding it. But yeah, this is one of those names where it just did a run for 10 reverse split. It looks like an MJ stock. It's actually insane how much it resembles it. And it's not even an MJ stock. It's a communications company. It's a 5G company. But monthly uptrend confirmed around the same time, and off the lows. It just looks like Canopy. It's like almost 600% gain now. But yeah, this is a great play in my opinion. And even from where we are now, we're still 2,500% away from all-time highs. So it's a great name, but I do think that we could see some pretty big pullback here. Weekly consolidation very imminent. We haven't consolidated or lost the low of the previous weekly candle in 2 months. So if we lose the low of last week, this week, 758, weekly consolidation probably going to pull back to around $6. Hold that low this week, then the low of this week becomes important. Next week, we lose that low, then we need to expect at least a 20-30% pullback rate. And then, like I said, we're in a weekly uptrend as well. Low, high, higher, low, and higher high, higher, low, and higher high. We could pull back from current levels. We could pull back 73% and still be in a weekly uptrend. This is why RSI and knowing what an uptrend and a downtrend, like just knowing those 3 things and utilizing those 3 things can save you a world of hurt, right? And just, it's not about predicting, it's just knowing and having an edge, right? Wouldn't you know that something could drop 70% and still be considered healthy? Like, in what world would people think that? Like, there's no way something can drop 70% and be healthy. Oh, that company's going to zero is what most people would say, bankrupt. But anybody who knows technical analysis would be like, oh, like if you run over 400% in 2 months with no support, and you're in an uptrend, you could easily pull back from the high there. It could pull back 80% and still be in a weekly uptrend, right? So, and this is what happens when you're down 99% from all-time highs, is you can easily see 400, 600% moves up with no support established, and then people start chasing. That's what they do, right? The harder they follow, the more they run, and the longer the base, the higher in space, right? Simon got 1.3 million shares today. He doesn't deserve it. Go Oilers. I didn't see that. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, go Oilers. We're off to the Cup Finals, and Florida won 4-2. We won our series 4-2. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome series. I know Florida's considered the favorite, but our best beats anybody else's best, to quote Draisaitl, I think it was. But yeah, we're rocking, and as long as we can get good goaltending support and get some lower depth support from our forwards, I think we're looking really, really good. But I won my hockey pool, my playoff pool. I picked so the way we had to pick like a bunch of forwards, once a D-man, and 3 goalies. So I picked New York Rangers, Florida. I picked like a bunch of people from, you can pick any team you want, no salary cap, and any players you want, no salary cap. So I picked a mix of New York Rangers and their goalie, a mix of Florida and their goalie, but I had more Florida than New York Rangers. And then in the West, I picked Oilers and Colorado. But Colorado, they got eliminated in the second round, but they actually had a ton of points. Rantanen, McKinnon, and Makar. And then Dallas got ousted by Edmonton. So now I have Edmonton, Edmonton, New York Rangers got eliminated. So now I have Edmonton, goalie, and a bunch of forwards versus Florida. So there's like literally no way I can lose. I'm like already 100% guaranteed to win it. So I got 3 out of the 4 teams to make it to the final conference. But yeah, if I would have picked Dallas, it would have just been lights out. But it's already lights out, so pretty stoked. I haven't won a hockey pool in a really long time. And there's a pretty hefty size pool. There was like 18 people in that playoff pool, so there was it's a pretty big pot. No pun intended. Thanks, Rod. You bet. No problem, Leisha. David Benz. Tony doesn't apply the DOJ safe light. Tony doesn't apply to DOJ safe light. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get this banking approved here at some point soon. Remember, before any meaningful reform like Schedule 3 enactment or descheduling, who has to get positioned? J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and BlackRock, right? So those companies. Kevin O'Leary said it himself. He was looking at a producer in Vermont, and it was great yield on his cash. I think it was like over 10%, and per year. I think he said it was. And the lawyer, he talked to his lawyer, and he's like, "Are you effing crazy? Like, this is a Schedule 1 narcotic." Like, no. So the Kevin O'Learys of the world would be coming once we get Schedule 3, in my opinion. And then the BlackRocks and all the financial Wall Street banks are going to get positioned, right? Yes, it's an EV company. Yeah, exactly. I never heard of it, Jatinder, but like just, through experience looking at the chart, when I look at that chart, it's, look at any other EV company and it has automotive in the name. So I already knew, right? I just assumed it. Yes, Mullen is an EV company, pretty bad one too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them like Lucid, all those companies just got wrecked. Dell or Snowflake? Geez, I don't know. I've done a lot of work with Dell and partnerships with Dell, but I don't know anything about Snowflake there, so I can't really. I mean, Dell's definitely tried and true. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, so there's that to consider. But yeah, HSCS. What's that? HSCS. Heart Test Laboratories on the NASDAQ. Yeah, be careful on this one too. Monthly downtrend, lower low. Just did a reverse split, 1 for 100. I know, what is it? A biotech company, laboratories, Heart Test Laboratories, maybe some sort of clinical trial or some kind of biotech company. I don't know. I'd be very cautious though. It's Black Dirt Breakdown. It's not looking good. Yeah, and they had a really big loss, so yeah, I'd be careful on that one. Thank you so much, Rod, for the YOLO analysis. I learned even more. You bet. My pleasure, Skibby. Yeah, I'll dive into it a little bit more on the next one if I have more time, but I got to start wrapping it up here. Thank you, Rod. You were awesome. I wish I could join PAL, but I cannot afford it yet. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Jelius. I appreciate it. Well, there is a free trial option, so if you go to palgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, you can do a free trial, 1 week free trial. There's not very many trials available. I add like a few of them from time to time. There might be one or two left that you can grab, but if you want to go on there and try it for a week, no credit card required. So come check it out for a week if you'd like, and then whenever you have cash, then by all means feel free. But you can try it out. Skibby, you rock too. Yeah, definitely. You guys are awesome. And gals, for all the gals on the stream. No, there's not very many of us. Mostly a male dominated, but numbers going up. I'm seeing a lot more gals that are starting to follow me on the channel. So you rock too. Love it. Love the camaraderie, and yeah, so many. I see so many other YouTube channels that just have so many mods, like moderators and things like that, that work in the chat and go in and like respond to all the bots. And yeah, I can just attest to that. The quality of the comments and the people that join these live streams, I really do appreciate it, and love each and every one of you. It's been a journey, and like I said, I'm really excited for the next few months. And it's looking like big tech, Congress being banned from owning stocks, that's probably going to mark the top on a lot of our big tech and crypto. And after alt season, then we're going to really start to see MJ shine. Like I said, if we see a big pullback in the broader market, MJ could correct quite a bit too, but I think it'll recover quicker and end up being one of the best performing sectors, if not the best performing sector over the next couple of years. But going into there, it's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Appreciate all of the contributions in the chat, and hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, smash the like, share the video with your network, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, take care. Talk to you soon.